So you've narrowed down your moving destination to the north side of Orlando, but the pile of information is absolutely overwhelming and you're asking yourself, should I move to DeBary or DeLand, Florida? Now some would say this is subjective, but look, there's a lot to consider, so today I'm going to compare and contrast DeBary and DeLand, two very popular choices for those moving here to the Orlando area. Then at the end, I'm going to include a couple links on videos on these cities that just might make this decision a whole lot easier, so be sure to stick around for those. So let's start with a few similarities of DeBary and DeLand. Now both of these cities are destinations for those that commute to Orlando and still want quick access to the beaches. DeLand and DeBary are moderately priced with a cost of living right around the national average. Both are what I would consider to be middle-class cities, and both have citizens that are complaining about the growth of these desirable destinations in Volusia County, Florida. Both are right along I-4 and have access to the St. Johns River, and both boast amazing year-round weather. Being that DeBary and DeLand are just about 25 minutes apart, I could go on and on about the similarities. But what separates DeBary and DeLand? Being that DeLand is the more commonly known of these two cities, let's start here. DeLand is the county seat of Volusia County, and DeLand's downtown district is one of the best in all of Central Florida, perhaps all of Florida for that matter. DeLand's Main Street has all sorts of restaurants, they got some great shopping and nightlife. There's the Artisan Theater, the Museum of Art, and Stetson University, which has a gorgeous tree-lined campus. The arts are big in DeLand, and there may be more cultural diversity here in DeLand than there is down in DeBary. I'm not even trying to touch all that DeLand has to offer here in this little video. If I can remember at the end of this video, I'll include a link to some of my personal favorite things to do right here in DeLand. I don't think anything I've mentioned here is on that video, so be sure to stick around for that. Given DeLand's size and venue options, DeLand is home to all sorts of festivals. They've got art festivals, music festivals, and all sorts of parades that seem to always be happening. There's the Artisan Alley Farmers Market on Friday nights where local vendors have all sorts of produce and handmade goods. DeLand is a really large, small town, or maybe it's a small, large town, I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't really call it a small town or a large town by itself. If you live up on the north side of DeLand, then Daytona Beach is likely where you're going to head if you're looking for something a little different than what DeLand has to offer. If you're down on the south side of DeLand, then you're likely heading down to Orange City or maybe down to Sanford or Lake Mary if you're up for a little bit longer ride. DeLand is almost twice the size of DeBary, so it seems like there's a lot more going on here in DeLand than there is in DeBary. There are more jobs up here in DeLand too, likely just because of that larger population. There are more housing options too. The largest community in DeLand is Victoria Park with somewhere around 2,400 homes, and DeLand has a wider variety of housing options than does DeBary. DeLand surely has more historic home options, and although both offer manufactured home options, DeLand has more manufactured home options that are not in an HOA community. Now, it's not that there are a lot of manufactured homes here in the area, there aren't. That's not what DeLand or DeBary is about. DeLand also has more land available. If a ranch or a farm or something along those lines are what you're looking for, then DeLand is probably a better option. We get a lot of people that call us looking for help with all kinds of homes when moving to the Orlando area, and some of them are price conscious, so we try to match the buyer with the right home. If you're thinking about moving to Central Florida, just pick up the phone and give us a call. So I've laid out the many reasons you should move to DeLand, but does that mean that DeBary is an inferior option? Well, no, not at all. And some would say that DeBary is kind of the anti-DeLand. DeBary is a small town, although some would say that DeLand does have a small town feel, and I'm one of them, it's nothing like it is down in DeBary. Although DeBary is dealing with the same new construction housing boom that DeLand is facing, DeBary tends to be more quiet, maybe even more laid back. I suspect that DeBary has an older population, but maybe that's just because of that laid back perception that I have. DeBary's residents do have a higher median income than those up in DeLand, but it's not significant, and it may just be attributed to that age thing I spoke of a minute ago. DeBary does not have the downtown district that DeLand has. As I record this today, DeBary's downtown district is still being built, so I guess time will really tell as to what that's going to be like. It'll be new, so I don't know if it's ever going to have that old-timey charm of DeLand's downtown. However, the plans of the new downtown area suggest that DeBary isn't really trying to be the next DeLand. They're trying to do their own thing. I've got a video on the new downtown area that I'll put up at the end here somewhere. If you're viewing this video and the downtown district is already completed, comment below and share your thoughts on DeBary's new downtown. Look, DeBary just doesn't offer all the activity that DeLand has, but that's part of DeBary's charm. DeBary's noise is primarily concentrated along 1792, which is the main thoroughfare through DeBary and also DeLand, whereas DeLand has more hustle and bustle in more areas of the city than does DeBary. DeBary's largest community, as I record this today, is the DeBary Plantation. It's a golf community with around 1,300 homes, which is probably about half the size of Victoria Park. Someone moving to Victoria Park up in DeLand may also consider the DeBary Plantation. The homes in both communities are similar in nature, although some may consider Victoria Park superior due to their gated 55+ section, Crestwind of Victoria Gardens. Now, it's worth noting that if you're looking for a 55+ community, then DeLand may offer more options for you. Hey, I almost forgot. Would you mind supporting this channel by hitting the like and the subscribe buttons down below? When you support us in this way, Google kind of gives us a little internet juice, and it's a big deal for this channel's success. So I spoke of all the varied activities that DeLand has to offer, and DeBary simply doesn't offer all that. Although there are some restaurants, and I posted a video a little while back on the best in DeBary, they don't even compare to all that DeLand offers. DeBary just doesn't have the culture or the nightlife that DeLand has. But maybe that's an advantage for DeBary. DeBary still has the St. Johns River. They've got Gemini Springs. They've got Alexander Springs. They've got some amazing cycling and these all-purpose trails and all sorts of natural resources. DeBary does have a Christmas parade like DeLand. They've got Clayton the Dinosaur, which is really cool, especially when they dress him up for the holidays. DeBary also has the Gateway Center for the Arts, where they have community theater, they have concerts, game nights, classes, and all kinds of events. It's not as big as what they have up in DeLand, but it's really all part of the small town charm of DeBary. Another part of DeBary's small town charm is the decorating contests at Halloween and Christmas. It's pretty cool. It's fun to drive around and see all the elaborate Christmas displays that they come up with. DeBary is just across the bridge from Sanford and Lake Mary. Lake Mary is home to an assortment of professional and administrative type jobs where a lot of DeBaryans go to work. And Sanford, which is a very large city, has just about everything you could need. Sanford is much bigger than DeLand, and some would say that Sanford is better than DeLand, although I'm not one of them. But you get the point that Sanford has a lot to offer when there's nothing to do in DeBary, which is most of the time. If you head north from DeBary, then Orange City has all sorts of shopping, restaurants, and hospitals that, depending on where you are in DeBary, could be just 5 minutes up the road. If you're commuting to Orlando on a regular basis, then DeBary could be much better than DeLand, especially if you're considering a home in DeLand's north or up on the west side. So which is it? Should I move to DeBary or DeLand, Florida? Well, the answer is it really depends on who you are and what you like. If you want more peace and quiet and that laid-back feeling, and you're willing to make the 15-minute ride down to Sanford or Lake Mary, then DeBary could be a better choice. If you want DeLand's impressive downtown district and perhaps a little more action, then perhaps DeLand is better for you. I've been in and around the DeLand and DeBary area for many years, and to me, one of them isn't really better than the other. Here are those videos I promised you earlier. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.